It's been 18 days since Kamala Harris became the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. And while we have seen a lot of her in ads, scripted rallies, we've seen a few brief statements, but nonetheless, she has not offered herself for an extended interaction with the press since June 24th. And yeah, let me underscore that. I said June, not July, since June 24th. And that was when she was on the left-leaning MSNBC's Morning Joe. Well, Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, he's been demanding that the media pressure Harris to answer some questions about her record. He even went to speak to reporters who were waiting yesterday for Harris on a Wisconsin airport tarmac where his plane and hers arrived at about the same time.
Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from the Harris? Hello? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter.
Well, let me just say this. If Vice President Harris won't provide answers to the press, if she won't provide answers to you on where she stands on all the issues, then we will. And joining me now to talk about what we do know about the vision of the Harris-Walz administration is Meg Kilgannon. She's a senior fellow for education studies here at the Family Research Council. She presently served in the Department of Education during the Trump administration. Meg, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always great to have you.
It's always great to see you, Jody.
Okay, we've got a lot of ground to cover. I've already noted on the program today how former President Trump, he held a press conference. He fielded a lot of questions from reporters today. We've talked about the fact that that's something we have yet to see from Vice President Harris. What message does this send to the American public?
Well, I've been really amazed that Vice President Harris has not addressed the press and the larger public. She's delivered remarks exclusively to audiences that are places that she's comfortable with. And it says to me that she's not interested in asking for my vote. I'm a voter, and maybe I haven't made up my mind yet, but she's not offering herself in venues where I might notice her because she's not speaking to me. She's not speaking through the press to me.
That's a great point, because that is what it's all about. That's what the questions are about. That's what the media interviews are about. It is about reaching out to the voters. It's about letting the people know where she and her running mates stand on the various issues. And when they hide, it raises all sorts of questions. But we do know certain things. So let's start off with your area of specialization, and that would be education. Okay, about a couple of weeks ago, in fact, you were on with me a couple of weeks ago, when just a couple of days after President Biden had dropped out of the presidential race, Vice President Harris delivered a keynote speech at the American Federation of Teachers Convention, and she repeated something that she has said all too often, that Republicans want to ban books. Let me play this clip for you.
Book bans in this year of our Lord 2024.
Tell the President Harris.
And on these last two issues, just think about it. So we want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books.
Wow. Okay, please, Meg, unpack this for us.
Well, I think that she should check the Supreme Court docket because a decision just came down on a New Jersey case where New Jersey had an assault weapons ban, and I believe that was knocked down. So good luck with that one.
But she did admit that they want to ban guns. I mean, that's
true. She's going to keep trying.
Second Amendment issue.
Let's not let the Supreme Court be the final say. The Biden administration is famous for getting knocked down by the Supreme Court and just doing exactly what they want to anyway. So, but no, she set up this false choice. I mean, the whole issue around book banning is so interesting to me because, of course, We don't want to ban books. We simply don't want pornographic material to be presented to school children as educational. And we certainly don't want it on offer in school libraries. This is not anything any reasonable person doesn't understand. And so the way that she wants to gloss over all of this is to just talk about the religious right wanting to ban books. Well, that's not exactly honest. Neither is it honest that they want to ban assault weapons, because they want to ban all of the guns. She's for
Right.
mandatory gun, but give backs and buybacks and all of that kind of thing. So this is a non sequitur.
Well, and it's interesting. We on the program yesterday, we talked about Oklahoma now using the Bible in books, and they, surprise, surprise, want to ban the Bible.
Right.
So
They have banned the Bible. In fact, they've
That's
banned
exactly
prayer in
right.
school. Right. They've removed a lot
exactly
of things.
right. All right, going back to her address to the ATF convention, she also talked about the fight for freedom. Play for me, if you will, clip 6.
Ours is a fight for the future, and ours is a fight for freedom. In this moment across our nation, we witness a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms.
Okay, translate that for us, please.
I think the most attacked freedom that is under attack now in the America is religious liberty, and of course she does not mention that in her list of freedoms that she feels like are under attack. Right? She thinks that for some reason you're not going to be able to love who you want to love, or that you won't be able to say gay, or any number of these ridiculous tropes that the Democrats trot out in election years to activate certain segments of their base. And it's been quite something to watch her speeches. Her stump speech, and the speech that she gave at the ATF, was her first riff on the stump speech that she then repeated at the announcement of Tim Walz as her vice presidential pick. She has some themes. The main theme is freedom, freedom on Democratic terms, right? Democratic Party terms. Freedom not of people to practice their faith and to live out their faith, but rather freedom to, abort your babies, a freedom to present sexualized material to children, freedom to give children transitional services, to castrate them, to sterilize them in these ridiculous so-called gender affirming care experiments on children. Those are the kinds of things that her administration has advocated for. And that's the kind of freedom that she imagines for the country. But that's not how she talks about it in her stump speech.
Yeah, it sounds good to talk about freedom, but life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, all of those things are freedoms that she restricts in what she and the Democratic Party really are trying to advance. She also, while she was announcing Governor Walz as her vice presidential pick, she mentioned that she wanted to lift up the middle class.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right. Well, I think that the Republican Party's rebrand, so to speak, and aligned when they offered the president of the union a key spot to speak at the convention, and are open to more to messaging more on how difficult it is to make a living in this country, and how hard people work so hard and they still can't make it because of the economy. This is something that that rings true for voters, and they have to be seeing this in their focus groups and their polls. So for Vice President Harris to mention these things is her way of not taking responsibility for the bad economy as the vice president, but to make a promise about improving things when she is eventually, in her hope, elected president. So she gets to have her cake and eat it too. She doesn't have to take any responsibility for her role in destroying the economy, but she can have us all dream wonderful dreams about freedom and uplifting the middle class, as if there's going to be some sort of magical thing that happens when she's president and things will change. And we have to think it's magical because she has no policy at all on the website of the campaign. She's not taking questions from the press. As we said, she's making no specific policy recommendations about what she's going to do as president. She's painting with very broad strokes.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that kind of struck me, because I was in the middle of all of this, and I don't mean to be splitting hairs here, but it strikes me. All right, she tells people that the highest form of patriotism is to fight for your country. Now, you can take that a couple of ways. Perhaps fight for your country in the military, but I don't think that's what she meant. She was referring to these people who are in the audience here. It sounds like something an insurrectionist would say, at least according to Democrats. That's what they've said in the past. What do you make of that? Am I taking that too far? I mean, it's okay for them to make these kind of statements, but not for anyone else to say it.
Well, it's okay for them to hold race-segregated events to launch her campaign. You know, white dudes for Kamala and black women for Kamala. I mean, can you imagine if a Republican tried to have an event like that, how it would be cast by the media? And so the media is very much complicit in this entire process of reimagining Kamala Harris and presenting her to the country. And so that's why it's important to consume alternative media, to listen to other voices who can have can add some context and some facts to this word picture that they're painting for folks in the country. Because it's okay, apparently, for Kamala Harris to encourage her audience to fight for our country, but it is not okay for former President Trump or any Republican to say the same. I mean, that's a clear double standard, but we're kind of used to that.
Absolutely. And here's another thing that's come out that I know is right down your wheelhouse. But yesterday, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, she was pressed on the administration's rewrite of Title IX, and she was asked whether the president has any concern over the harm that it will cause to female sports and directly to women and girls. And she basically said that the rewrite is about protection. Let me hit this clip real quickly. Clip 7, please.
Every student deserves the right to feel safe. Every student deserves the right to feel safe in schools. That's what the rule is all about, strengthening and restoring vital protections that the previous administration took away.
Wow. So everyone deserves to feel safe. I guess that includes girls, women who have men in the locker rooms.
I certainly hope it does. I mean, that's what I would like to think it means, but that's certainly not what the rule says that they have promulgated. And that's why it's enjoined in many, many states across the country. It's because of the fact that it does not protect women and girls. It does not protect every student. It prioritizes some students over other students. And this is certainly not the original intent of Title IX, nor is it supported by any kind of common sense. And anybody who's spent 15 minutes in a school building lately would think that this is a good idea to let this rule go through. So
Absolutely.
This is a theme that she hits in her stump speech over and over again. This idea that somehow the right is going to roll back protections for people or are seeking to, inhibit people's ability to live their lives. And it really is confession by projection, because they are the ones who are putting people in jail for praying in front of abortion clinics. They are the ones who have sponsored the lawfare that has harassed President Trump for all of these many, many months and years, and other people around him with ridiculous and pointless lawsuits. I mean, they are the ones who are weaponizing government. It's not us.
Yeah, and restricting the rights of the American people. Meg Kilgannon, thank you so much for joining us today on Washington Watch. Always appreciate your insight and what you bring to the program. Thank you.
Thank you.